I guess it's been almost 9 years now since the hacking scandal broke in '07. We have people all around the world that tune in here. And I was wondering if, after that much time has passed, if you have a different perspective on it that you did even a year ago or 2 years ago. I know as the public, we were fed little bits of it piecemeal. And it's something I kind of want to explore with you today, because we heard things in '07 and then in '11, and then we saw a tribunal and kind of the pieces. But is there any way that you look at it differently now than when you were in it?
Actually, I don't think I do look at it differently, but because the big picture was always clear from the outset. So you could make the mistake of thinking that the phone hacking scandal is about phone hacking. It isn't. That's just the beginning of the thing. This was always, obviously, a story about power. And the immediate reason for that is that you had this newspaper, the News of the World, where they were routinely breaking the law to get hold of information for their stories, very frequently by hacking into people's voicemail messages. But the crucial thing was that by the time I started working on it, it was clear that the police at Scotland Yard, the Metropolitan Police, were sitting on very detailed, voluminous evidence of that crime occurring and had decided not to investigate it. So why would the most powerful police force in the United Kingdom make a decision like that? And then you see that the press regulator, which was never very powerful, was sitting on the sidelines, and they too were refusing to investigate it. And in fact, when we started working, they put out a report that said, The Guardian, my newspaper, a lot of old crap, and defended the News of the World. What's going on here? This is about power. This is about the fear of getting into a fight with the most powerful news organization in the country. And the final part of this is when you move beyond it, you see the same pattern in government. So you may have heard of this rather quaint old idea that we adopted here for a while. They call it democracy. It's a kind of odd thing. The idea was that each of us would vote and we'd elect a government that would, roughly speaking, do what we wanted. But forget that. You have this former Australian with an American passport who owns 4 national newspapers and a national news channel. And he has access to politicians of a kind ordinary people can't dream of. And he has power to influence what that government decides to do, far more than the electorate. So what I'm saying is that the hacking of voicemail messages is just the way in to a story about power. From the outset, it was obviously about power. And I don't think in that sense, the big picture perspective on the story's changed.
It almost feels like the movie All the President's Men, where they follow the money. It's like each one of these steps, as I've heard you talk about it, almost leads to something else and then leads to something else. And it kind of further unfolds to where almost then there's a public sentiment that allows it to kind of move forward. Yeah. And then you talked about this kind of soft power that the media has over the politicians, where it's not even a overt threat. It's this kind of this institutionalized
passive power,
fear. Yeah, passive power.
So that's it. The idea with passive power is it's a bit like the power of a bully in a school playground. And once this bully has beaten up 2 or 3 kids and made pulp out of them, the other kids get the message and they set out to placate the bully. It's about fear. So in the case of somebody like Rupert Murdoch, you can see 2 kinds of fear operating. This is really thinking in the kind of political context, which is the one that matters. So first of all, there is an individual fear that his newspapers might come and expose i.e. this imaginary politician's personal life, sex life.
Which there's a history of that.
Exactly. Britain. So this is the point, that every MP, every captain of industry, every trade union leader has seen it happen to somebody in their circle, that they've had this enormously painful and humiliating experience of their sex life being exposed all over the front page of Murdoch's newspapers. And they don't want that to happen to them. So Murdoch doesn't have to threaten that he's going to do that. They start off, almost all of them, from a position of fear. And then you can add to that individual fear a kind of organizational fear that again, they've seen it happen to other people, that if these newspapers target your union, your corporation, your political party, they can destabilize that organization to the point where it ceases to be able to function, because every day is a crisis, because some damn new thing has appeared on the front page of a newspaper. It may be true, it may be false, but the share price is falling, the staff are rebelling, there are people withdrawing their support. It's chaos. So you put those 2 fears together, and that begins to explain the extraordinary power of a media mogul in our society, and why he doesn't have to run around telling people what to do. They will take the initiative to try to placate him, to try to calm him down so they don't get into trouble. And it's kind of scary, bearing in mind the myths we tell about ourselves, that we live in this democratic society.
To watch the rest of this fascinating interview, click on the link below and go to londonrealacademy.com. There you can sign in with your social media, log in and watch the rest of the episode for free, along with all of our episodes on London Real, my webinars, and all of our premium content, all located over at londonrealacademy.com. So click on the link below, you'll be directed there and you can watch the rest of this fascinating interview, and I'll see you there.